Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Carly Bell and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And today we are continuing with our sew along journey of the Kimberbell Star Spangled Beauty Ladder Quilt. Beautiful project that Kimberbell came out with last spring, and I bought it before they even released it. Like, I pre-ordered it and it's been sitting on my shelf since. So we are going to get together and sew this together. And today is our third class, and we are going to be focusing on the applique heart blocks and the applique star trio block. So it's 3 stars. If you are new here, welcome. Excited to have you. I know I'm the type of person that it's really hard to get through these big projects that involve multiple hoopings and stitching out on your embroidery machine. And I am the type of person that tends to let things sit, if you can't tell by this sitting on my shelf for a year. So I thought it would be fun to go live every time I stitch a few of these blocks so that we can do it together and hopefully encourage one another to finish. So this is like third, fourth, fifth, maybe. Sew along doing Kimberbell projects. I have 2 more that I'm hoping to accomplish by the end of this year. And then I know I want to start tackling some other projects. I get lots of suggestions of things from Designs by Juju and Sweet Pea Embroidery. So don't worry if you're waiting for some of those projects, they are coming. Also, I wanted to let you know that I have a homepage on my website that is dedicated to this sew along. It should be the first link that you see below the video. And why every time I do this, I'm sorry, one second. Let me get my computer screen cooperating with me. There we go. Here is my website, carlybell.com. It's the first link under the video. Is going to bring you straight to this homepage. And on here is going to have all the details about this sew along. This is my live video schedule. I'm trying to go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday through the end of May, right around when my kids get out of school. By no means do you also need to try to work with me live on these. All of the replays of the classes will be found here. I need to actually go put class 2 and 3 when this video is over. They'll be under this one so you could see them all. And there's also a playlist on YouTube. And I have links for all the supplies that I'm using. The machine, you can do this on any machine that has a 5x7 hoop or larger, thread colors, and I have a free download for you here of a kind of organizational cheat sheet to help keep you organized while making all of these fun blocks. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that all of that is on my website, and that should be the first link that you see below this video. All right, let me get back to where I was. So I want to take a second to tell everybody good morning. I see Cindy and Linda and Marnie, Annette, Joanna, Dee, Kim. Thank y'all so much for joining me live. I appreciate you. So in the first class, if you're new here, in the first class, it's like an intro and prep video. We don't actually stitch anything, but I go over all the things you need to accomplish this project, what you can substitute, how you can save money, all those things, and how to set yourself up for success. And so you will see me for all the rest of the classes be grabbing envelopes of the blocks that we're stitching. And these are things that I prepped and I show you how to prep in the first class. This is totally optional. This is my personal preference. This is the only way I'm going to get this done so that when it's time to stitch these blocks, I can go pull these envelopes out of my basket and just go straight to the machine and start stitching. So I have my envelopes for the Hearts 1 and 2 block and the Star Trio block. Now I'm going to look at my sheet. The heart blocks are finished size of 4x4, which means the stitching size in the hoop is 4.5 by 4.5. So it is a little too big to stitch in a 4x4 hoop. It needs to be done in a 5x7 because of the background quilting. But we had a discussion last class, can we fit both of these in a 6x10 hoop? So we're going to try that because I haven't played with it yet. The other one we're doing is the Star Trio. That's going to fit beautifully in a 6x10 hoop, no problem. The final size is 4x8, which is stitching size is 4.5 by 8.5. That's going to fit in our hoop, no problem. No alterations need to be made. So let's start with the hearts and see if I can fit these in a 6x10 hoop. I should be able to, right? Yes. I'm thinking math is not my strong suit always. So let me get my screens together here. I see what's happening every time I do something on this screen. Where's my mouse? It is giving me trouble. Okay. So here is Embrilliance. I'm using Embrilliance Essentials to do all of my things before I send them to the machine. Now, in the second class that we did, I went over how to, if you don't want to use software, you have a hoop size that fits everything, you don't want to use software, you can easily go to your machine and stitch out the background quilting first and then stitch out the design on top. You can merge them on your machine as well, but you don't actually need to. You could just stitch one, then load the second design, stitch the other. If you like to manipulate things, or you have a smaller hoop that, say like your largest size hoop is 6x10, there are some designs that won't fit in a 6x10 hoop with the background quilting. Also in class number 2, I went over how to manipulate that to fit without actually resizing the design at all. And now we're going to see about how to stitch 2 blocks in one hooping. So I am in my files, and for heart block 1, we need plaid 5, this one, and we need it in a 4x4 size. Embroidery files, choose your format of choice, and there it is, 4x4. So I'm just going to double click this and it's going to open in Embrilliance. There we go. Let me open up a 6x10 hoop. This one. Yep, 6x10, apply. And I need to press my H so that y'all can actually see my hoop. All right, so there is that. Now I'm going to leave that alone. It's centered in my hoop right now, and I want it to stay that way. Now I'm going to go back to my embroidery design. So that was my background quilting set. These are the embroidery designs that came with Star Spangled Banner. That's where the applique and the cute designs are going to be. Okay. And I am looking for a heart. Now there's not going to be 2 hearts because they're literally the same exact design. So I am going to merge these 2 files, and I can drag and drop, or I can use the merge a stitch file button in your toolbar, and then you navigate to where the second design is that you want to add on top of this. All right, so now I have background quilting and my heart applique. This is a simple 3-step applique with a placement, tack down, finishing stitch, and it has that cute motif stitch that we saw in our last class. It's the same exact heart from Land That I Love. It's just bigger. And we're doing the plaid background quilting. This one's a fun one because it's a 2-color stitch, so you can have fun with that. And we also have gone over in the last class how there are 4 steps to adding your batting in your background fabric. This is your placement for your batting. This is tack down. Because I am cutting my batting to fit perfectly in this box, I don't need a tack down step. If you're cutting it bigger and you need to trim it, you will want to do this step, tack it down, and then you'll trim your batting just like an applique. This is the step I don't think anyone needs. This is showing you where to put your background fabric. I think it's pretty obvious where you should put your background fabric, and that should be on top of your batting. And then this is a basting stitch to baste down your background. So I always delete steps 2 and 3. So I'm going to highlight them and press delete on my keyboard. All right, I have this design ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of it. I'm going to go to edit and group. So now they are together. So if I go and click, it selects everything. And I'm just going to use my arrow key and move all of this all the way to the top of the hoop, like so. All right, now let's get our second heart. That's going to have a different background quilting. The heart bit is the same, but the background quilting is different. So let's go find that. Let's see, background quilting. And according to my cheat sheet, we're doing stars 12 in the 4x4 size. 4x4. Now one's horizontal and one's vertical. I don't have a note on my chart. Let's see if I can look at a picture in my book and see. It looks, you can't even tell. Maybe up and down? It's really hard to tell because the thread matches the fabric nicely. So let's do vertical. All right. And I'm going to drag and drop because again, I'm merging. Okay. Then while I have this, I'm going to go ahead and delete steps 2 and 3 and hit delete. Just like we discussed, I only want a placement for my batting and a basting tack down for my background fabric. And there's my quilting. And I need the same exact heart design to go on top of here. So either I can merge it again, or I can just copy and paste this one. So I have all just the heart highlighted. I'm going to go to copy and paste. Now, the problem with that is it doesn't put it right in the center. Did it work? Yeah. Nope, it didn't. Let's see if I hit paste. Now, see, it does it right there. Okay, I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to do it the way I should have done, which is dragging and dropping, because then it will go right in the center of my hoop, and I'll know it'll go right in the center of this background quilting. Nope, I want the heart. Okay, there we go. Drag, drop. Now it's right in the center. And I'm pretty sure if I do this, I'm only getting, there we go. When you try to select something and you draw your box around it, even though I was on top of this design, the box has to be completely surrounding all the edges for it to grab it. So when I did that, it did only select the background quilting and the heart. Another way that you could go and select just certain items, making sure you're not grabbing other things, is to come in your objects panel and select here. And you can hold the shift key down. So like say I let this go. I could hold this and hold the shift key. And I don't need to go, I can go all the way here, or I can just click here and it grabs all of this. Does that make sense? Once you have all that grabbed, now I'm going to group it again, edit, group. And then I'm going to use my arrow key on my keyboard and just slide it down. And you want to get enough space in between these two, because remember your background fabric is going to be bigger. And you don't want it to get to where you lay down the fabric for this one and it gets stitched on top of. Now we can trim it as well to make sure they don't overlap too much, but you really want to get this all the way to the top and this all the way to the bottom. And this is something I actually went over if you have Enthusiast. And this was something we went over in my Enthusiast course. You can use precise positioning to get this design's top to be at the very top of your embroidery field. So this is 260, so that'd be 130. And now that is all the way at the top of my hoop. And I could click this one and make the bottom minus 130. And that is all the way at the bottom of my hoop. So this maximizes the space between the two without pushing these outside the embroidery field. Notice I don't have any red highlight here. That's telling me that everything fits in the hoop nicely. I'm not going to get to my machine and it's going to tell me this design is too big for your hoop. So that is how we set up the background quilting with the applique on top for each. I've positioned them in my hoop so that I have the most space in between them. The last thing you might want to do is color sort. And that is so we can stitch the place, do the batting at the same time, the background fabric at the same time, the quilting depending on the colors, which I'm about to look at my cheat sheet, and then the steps for the applique heart at the same time. So in order to set yourself up for this, you need to make sure that things you want to stitch together are the same color, like my box for my batting, my box for my background, those are the same color, and my quilting. The first step in this was turquoise, and this one's also turquoise. So the quilting is really the only bit we need to make sure the colors are either the same or different. So I am going to refer to my craft sheet, my cheat sheet here. Okay, so hearts with the plaid. I have light blue. Oh, it's supposed to be two colors though. Let's see. Oh, I see it. It's like light blue and a cream color. So light blue and cream. So let me write that down on your chart since I missed it. And then the other heart is just, it matches the color of the fabric, like almost spot on. So for the heart blocks, we're going to be doing the 2 denim pieces of fabric that come in the embellishment kit. So if you didn't get the embellishment kit, if you have some old pair of jeans or material that resembles jeans in your house, go cut them up. All right, so let's see. These are my thread colors. So the darker one, it wants to use these 2 colors. That's going to be your plaid design. But this one, I don't really have a color that blends into that well. Either one of these are going to be a little bit contrasting. So I'll just choose whatever color you like best. I am going to go with, I like the darker, I think. Yeah. On my cheat sheet, I put light blue, but you put what you like. This is where you can start, you know, feeling things out and doing things to your own personal preference. So the point of this is that all of these are different colors. So in Embrilliance, I want them to be different colors. I don't want them to be the same, because when I try to color sort them, it will put these 2 background quiltings in the same step. And I don't want it to be that way. I want to change colors. So back to, now that I know that, okay, so we can leave this one alone. This one's turquoise. This one says navy. That's fine if I'm doing blue and cream. But this one, I don't want it to be turquoise because then it will combine those steps. So I just need to pick any other color. This one right here. I could just click my color chip and make it sea green instead. Doesn't matter as long as it's different, so that when I color sort, they won't group them together. And then your 3 steps of your applique heart. One thing I'm noticing, this is blue and this is blue and this is orange. So we need to change these or they'll group them with the batting tack down and placement steps. So let's go just make this a different blue. Let's make it Hawaiian blue. And this one a different orange. And I just have to make sure I do these the exact same way. All right, that I'm not messing with that. I'm only messing with the heart. Hawaiian blue and West Point. And what colors you see is all going to depend on what brand thread you have pulled up. So it really doesn't matter. The whole point is we're trying to set ourselves up so that when we color sort, we don't get things grouped together on accident that we didn't want to. Okay. So I think this all looks good now. So now I can go to edit, no, utility, color sort. And it has changed it by 2 color changes. That's not going to be good. Let's make our tolerance. I think I messed with this in one of my courses. Still only 2. Let's see what happens. Let's look at new view and let's see what it does. All right, I got my 2 placement steps. I got my 2 tack down steps. I got my quilting, and then it's going to the heart. So it didn't sort it like I wanted it to, but now I can play with this if I want, or I can come back here and I'm trying to remember. So this bit here is called color tolerance. This is how stringent you want it to be. I can't remember what direction. Maybe the higher I go, the more. Let's go to 6 and see. Now I got 4. I've changed. Let's go to 8. The higher I get, the less stringent it is. Okay, it's not going past 4. So let's go to new view and now see what it does. Okay, my placements, my tack downs, my quilting. Nope, this is almost right, but not quite, because I want all my quiltings to go together. So I'm just moving things now because it's not cooperating with me. I want this quilting, that quilting, that quilting. Then I can do my placement for my hearts, my tack down for my hearts, and my finishing stitch. So it had the order a little bit wrong, and it wouldn't put together these 2. But the good news is that when I save this as a stitch file, because these 2 steps, which are back to each other, are the same color, when I get to my machine, it will combine these to be the same step, if that makes sense. So this is the file I want to send to my machine, and I'm going to go to File, Save Stitch File As, because I'm using a USB stick. If you have a Brother or a Baby Lock that has wireless, there's a wireless feature under Utility. Okay, I am on my embroidery USB stick, and I've made myself a folder, and now I'm going to do heart 1 and 2. And save it as a file, a format that matches your machine, and save. Okay, so that is done. And real quickly, while I'm on my computer, I'm going to go ahead and set up my Star Trio file. So this one's going to be simple because I just need to do the background quilting and the star on top, and then we're done. So let me look at my cheat sheet and see which background quilting I need. Star Trio, stars 11. That's stars 12. We have stars 11. Yep, there we go. And embroidery files, block by block. Pick your format. And we're doing 4 by 8. This is 4 by 8. I'm going to double click it so it opens up in a new hoop. And now I just need to put my stars on top. So let me go backwards and get to my embroidery files. Pick your format. And now I'm looking for the Star Trio, this one. And I'm going to merge it, drag and drop. There we go, right in the center. So this is ready to go. The only thing I like to do, as I've mentioned, is skip steps 2 and 3 of the background quilting. And then there's my stars. And those will do 3 appliques at a time. If you wanted to rearrange this so you did all your placement stitches at one time, tack down and so on, you can. But because they're so close together, it's probably best to keep it separate. All right, so I'm going to go to File, Save Stitch File as USB stick, and then Star Trio. Okay, so now I got everything on my USB stick ready to send to my machine. So I'm sorry I was not looking at the comments while I was doing all that. So did I miss any questions? I see Trish is here. Hi, Roberta. All right, Trish and Dee and Cindy are all talking. Do I need to ungroup the design before color sorting? I don't think so. I don't think that matters, Joanna, but that's a good point. We can test it out. Let's see. All right, I don't think I see any other questions about Embrilliance, but okay, I see Trish liked the darker blue for the quilting. All right. Okay. So no problem. I know Embrilliance can be like very overwhelming. So if this is your first time messing with it, I would say take your time, slow me down, because I know I tend to talk fast, especially like now that we're in our third class. I will, from like this point forward, it's kind of like routine. I may start going too fast. For you, then just slow me down. When you watch the replay, you can control the speed on there and you can pause me. So just pause, back me up, say, what was that again? And go to your computer and try to follow along. If you are like super duper brand new to Embrilliance and you need someone to like hold your hand and tell you what every button means, I have a full online course dedicated to Embrilliance Essentials. And it takes you through everything that Essentials can do. And it really gives you a great foundation of the Embrilliance program and how to navigate it. And then eventually, like if you want to add on and get Enthusiast, which has some advanced editing features, like some of the things I showed you today was the precise positioning. I just made a full course on how to use all the special tools in Enthusiast. And I actually just finished that course with my first set of students, and I'll be opening enrollment again kind of like in the middle of May. So stay tuned for that. I will tell you when enrollment opens again. Okay, Linda has a great question. Will I hang this on a ladder or a regular wall? My intentions is a ladder. I have a space at the bottom of my stairs that's like a little corner where the stair railing comes down. There's a wall with nothing on it, and then there's a door here and door here. So it's like the perfect little spot. So I want to get a ladder and hang it there. I have not bought the ladder yet, though, so we will see. But that's my intentions. But I think it could work either way. Okie dokie. Let's get started. So let's do the hearts one first. Here's my scratch sheet. And here's the rest of my envelope. So you're going to need your 2 pieces of batting and the 2 pieces of fabric that are for the heart, and then the 2 pieces of denim. Now for the denim, I did not add SF101 to the back because these already feel like my fabric that I added SF101, which is a fusible interfacing. I go over this in class 1. I added to the back of all my fabric. The denim does not need it. It's already like hefty. And this is just to help prevent puckering and keep your fabric looking nice and smooth. Okay, so I need what, a 6x10 hoop. And stabilizer. Something else we go over in earlier classes is to save you money. You can, Kimberbell recommends poly mesh stabilizer. I am using lightweight cotton muslin fabric. I got it at Walmart for like $2 a yard, much cheaper. And I cut it into strips so that I can hoop, stitch, pull it out, rehoop, and kind of save myself some waste. So all we do is hoop the stabilizer, or in my case, the muslin. Now for the steps of the placement and tack down for the batting, you can do those in any color. And then for me, if I'm thinking of the stitch order, we do placement. Oh, and the basting stitch will actually be in, I have a water soluble thread for that, which is this one. So I need that. And then my background color. So I need all of this at the machine first. And I cut my batting to fit perfectly in the little boxes we're going to make. So I like to make sure they stick by just using a plain Elmer's glue stick. So I'm going to have that handy. So I'm going to leave that here and just bring this over to the machine. Oh, I need to eject my USB stick from my computer safely so it doesn't fuss at me. And let's go over to the machine. Nope, this one. Okay, go. So just turned it on and make it stick. Plug this in. Okay, there's my 2 hearts. Okay. So I don't do any editing on the machine whatsoever. I'm doing everything on my computer. There's my threads. And I'll do, doesn't matter what color I do this stuff in. I'll do it in navy just so y'all can see it good. Okay. And lower my presser foot and stitch. All right, so the first step is just a placement step showing us where to put the batting. And I want to say it's windy. It's windy here today. I saw briefly in the Facebook group that Wendy, once she bought everything to do this quilt and she is like really overwhelmed. So I wanted to talk with her and see how she's doing now that she saw me actually stitch out a couple blocks, and see what questions she has. So if y'all see Wendy, tell her to in the chat, tell her to tell me what's going on and what part is overwhelming her, because I totally understand. I was completely overwhelmed the first time I tried one of these projects. But if she's not here, I'll, when the class is over, I'll try to go answer her in the Facebook group. So I have a general free Facebook group. Anyone could come join. And that's kind of where we talk about the projects that we're working on. And especially like for this one, what I would love is if you are stitching along with me, if you go and post pictures of the blocks you make in the Facebook group, tag me please, so that make sure that I see them, and maybe do hashtag SSB, so like we can see all of those fun pictures when we're done just by searching that hashtag. All right, so this is the placement stitch for the batting. This is when I take my Elmer's glue stick and I just give it some stickiness. Don't need too much. I just kind of outline it and do a little zigzag in the middle. All right. And now you can take your batting, which I've already cut to be 4 by 4, and see it's going to fit in that square just nice. Oh, I hear my dad's here. Hold on one sec. Hello. I'm doing a video. I'm doing a video. I put your sander right when you walk in the shed. You should see it on the floor. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Love you. Sorry, that's my dad coming to pick up some stuff he let us borrow, or Chris borrow, for fixing our deck. And then we bowled crawfish this weekend. Lots of fun. All right, so we have our 2 blocks here. Oh, I see Wendy's here. Everything. I'm sorry, Wendy. Okay, we're gonna go through it step by step. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I want you to feel like you can do this. Batting is here. Ooh, which color is which? What did I do? On the bottom, I put the stars, so that's supposed to be the light denim. And see, what I'm going to try to do is make the top of my fabric, because this is a lot bigger than I need it to be. What the basting stitch is literally just a 1/4 inch above this. So I'm going to really just try to do halfway in the middle of these 2, like this. So the basting stitch should definitely catch it on both, and I don't have to worry about this fabric being here and it actually getting stitched on this block. So that's why we wanted to move them down to be as far apart as possible. Okay, Wendy, first question for you. What machine do you have, so that I know what hoop you have? All right, this is there. I'm going to go to the machine now and load my water-soluble thread, and that's going to give me my basting stitch that I can easily take out when I'm done, because I like to remove the basting stitch before I trim my blocks. There we go. And then I need to put a little spool cap for this one because it doesn't like to unwind nicely. All right, thread my needle, and my next step is the basting box around each. All right, okay, Wendy, great. She has a PE 770 that has a max embroidery field of 5x7, and she has a PRS 100 or Persona. That's, I used to have that machine too. That has a max embroidery field of 8x8. So I see where your struggle is. You are pretty much limited to a 5x7 hoop for everything. So the lesson that is going to be super helpful for you is, unfortunately, I don't have planned until like the end of the sew along. And that, wait, no, let's see. When we do lesson 6, we're on lesson 3 now. Lesson 6, I'll do clear blue tiles. So the thing that is a struggle for Wendy is that, see how, okay, like she wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right here. Even the next block, when I'm putting everything into one, those are all too big, even with the Persona, because the Persona is 8x8. We could mess with that one. Do you have Embrilliance, Wendy? And are you comfortable with doing a little editing in Embrilliance? All right. Oh, wait, I can stay at the machine, huh? Okay, the next step. Yeah, why did I take this off? I didn't need to take this off. Next step is we're going to start quilting. So this is when I'm doing the light blue and the cream. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. I'm going to do that. Nope, you got to. Okay. So actually, Wendy, you can use your Persona, now that I'm thinking. just like I manipulated last class, my design was too wide for my hoop, just by a smidge. I moved those basting stitches in, or you can just delete them all together. You would do the same with your persona, except you would mess with the top and bottom because your persona is only 8 inches tall. The design is 8.5 inches tall. So you would do the same thing, just this direction. So I have some solutions for you. Okay, I'm gonna let this stitch. This is the back, starting the background quilting here. Okay. Okay, you have Sew It Pro. Okay, no problem. So this is what we're going to do, Wendy. For any design that is not 4x4. So let's go through them together. All right. So the first block we did last class, this is your great block to start with if you haven't stitched anything out yet. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this better. All right, that is the stars and floral. This will fit beautifully in your 5x7 hoop on your PE 770, no problem. And you don't need software at all. I want you to do just like I did in class 2's video, where first I loaded this design and I stitched it out. And you can follow along with me step by step in class 2. Then when that design is done stitching, you load this design and stitch it right on top. So you don't even have to take your hoop off the machine. Just change out the file and start stitching it, and right on top. So that's going to work beautifully for you. Same with these hearts that we're doing today. You do one at a time. Again, you do them in your 5x7 hoop. First, you load the background quilting design, stitch it out, be done with it. Load your heart applique design, stitch it right on top. So the ones that we're going to play with are going to be all the ones that have an 8 in them. So, which is a lot of them. This one will fit beautifully in your 8x8 hoop, no problem. So you just have to go through and maybe highlight the ones that are complicated, save those for the end. Start with the ones that are super easy to where you can just load the background quilting, stitch it, load the design, stitch it right on top. No software needed. Okay, that's where I want you to concentrate for now. Okie dokie. So we got that bit of the plaid done. That looks so cute on the denim. All right, now I'm changing to my cream thread. And then, Wendy, you're going to see there's 4 steps at the beginning of every background quilting. You see how I'm skipping steps? If that messes you up, just stitch them out. They don't hurt. I'm just trying to save time because I'm always in a rush. That's how I live my life with kids, and it's impossible. But you just stitch all those steps out. They're there. Just do them. Okay, cream stitching happening. Super cute. All right, so now that we've said that, Wendy, is there anything else that is like super confusing about, are you worried about cutting into your fabric? Or you worry about stabilizing your fabric? Tell me anything else that is stressing you out. Oh, I still have coffee left. Yay. And I see you said why you can't do one at a time. You definitely can do one at a time. So that's what I was just talking about. I think you wrote that before I started talking. But yeah, one at a time. I'm just showing ways of saving time. If you have a bigger hoop, if you like messing with Embrilliance, all of this stuff is optional. So don't worry about this. Just focus on doing one at a time. And even where you don't have to use software, nothing. Just load it up. Okay, I'm putting on my navy thread, and now it's going to stitch the background quilting for my lighter denim, and I think this is going to look cute. And I need to get my red thread. Let me see. Oh no, blue. I need blue and red. And the red they're using is the raspberry, which is like a red. So this is my applique pieces. This one will be on top. This will be on bottom. I'll do this one for this one. And I think this one for this one. Something like that. Okay. All right. Wendy said she doesn't know what question that she hasn't received all her stuff yet. Okay. So just chill. Just take it easy. Don't stress. Wait till you get your stuff in. Keep watching while you're waiting, and things are going to start clicking and make more sense. Okay. I understand the overwhelm, and I understand that, oh my God, I just spent all this money on this thing and I don't think I'm gonna make it. We are going to get you through it. Don't worry about it at all. All right. Just sit back and watch. And like I said, the more you watch, things are going to start making a little bit more sense. And then when you get all your supplies in, you're going to go back and rewatch class number 1. And that's where you're going to see how to prep the fabric and cut it out if you want to make all the envelopes like I did. You're also welcome to just cut one at a time as you need them for that particular block. Just pay attention to the cutting guide in the instructions, because that's going to help you get the most out of your fabric and like use it the most efficiently if you got the fabric kit. Okay, so we are done with all the background quilting. Now it's going to do the placement stitch for both hearts. That could be done in any color. I have that navy thread on there. I'm just going to leave it. It's going to be a little bit hard to see on this one, but I'll see it on here, no problem. Okay, so that's my placement for both. Now, something I just thought about is it's going to tack down both at the same time. This particular stitch it has going around the heart is not like a full-on satin stitch. It's going to cover up everything. There's a chance we might see the thread color we use for the tack down stitch through it, but I really don't think it's going to be that noticeable. Normally for this stitch, I would make my tack down color match the finishing, but these are different. Oh, that's another thing. I have them together as the next step, so I'm gonna have to pause my machine. Okay, so that's a lesson learned. I should have paid attention to my hearts were not both red outlined. One is blue and one is red, so I did want them to be separated and different colors. But I could either go back to Embrilliance and fix that and resend it to my machine, or I am just going to play chicken with pausing it right when it switches from this heart to this heart. Okay, so laying both my pieces. They're both going to tack down with the dark, my navy thread, and I don't care, it's fine. That looks good. There. Okay. Go. And this is just me making sure like there's no like puckering or like puffiness, like where there's the fabric's not laying totally flat. Okay. So now that our appliques are tacked down, we're going to take it off the machine and go trim them so that they match their shape. Okie dokie. So we could leave it here. All right. And you can use your applique scissors of choice. I like the tweezer like ones. I have some from Kimberbell. And I just trim as close to that stitch line where it tacked down my heart as possible. And this motif stitch it's kind of tight, so the fabric can poke out past it. Not terrible, but I noticed with the Land That I Love one in one little spot, it was kind of poking out past, so I'm really trying to get it as tight to that stitch line as I can. Okay, that one's done. And they got some fuzz happening, so I like to use my lint roller and it will get all of that up. Okay, and now do this one. Okay. All right. So we are done with trimming our hearts, and y'all can see the really pretty quilting for both of these. I really like it. Super cute. And now we're going to go do the final stitch around these, which, like I was just saying, I was not thinking that they were different colors. So first one's going to be in light blue. It probably also look good with navy, but I'm going to do light blue. I could also just do it in red, both of them in red if I wanted to. But I'm going to stick with the different one. I'm going to stand here and pay attention. And what I'm going to do is as soon as I see it slowing down and doing the last stitch, I'm going to hit pause. And hopefully I'll catch it when it moves here. All right, there is a tail that I don't want to get caught up in all the stitching. So just see how like I paused just now? Don't ever be afraid to pause your machine. That ain't what I wanted. Okay. Oops. Okay, sorry, I hit error on my screen. This almost looks like a zigzag stitch, but a little different. And you can kind of see my navy blue outline through it, but it looks good. And I think it's going to look good on this one too. Okay. I'll tell you when I press. All right, there we go. Bump, 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 press. Oh, didn't cut. Okay, see, when I pressed it over there, even though it did all this movement, it stopped. That's what I wanted. And for some reason, this thread didn't trim. But I got to, right before it did the first step here, I raise my presser foot. Okay. And now I can put on my red thread. So you just kind of know your machine to pause it just right. But it wouldn't be the end of the world if it started stitching. Just pause it, cut it, reload your red thread, maybe back up a couple stitches. It'll stitch right on top of where it started and it'll get covered up for the most part. Okay, now lower and go, and it will finish. And then we will be done with this block. And while I got another tail. I don't like these tails. Presser foot. Okay. While this is stitching, I'm going to go move my dog who is crying by my door. I will be right back. Here you go. Lay down. Good boy. Okay. Ozzy is happy now. And this is stitching. And I could see even where my fabric is poking out just a smidge like over here. But it's not horrible. It's a look. It gives it a vibe. All right, let me go check the chat, see what I missed. Yay, Wendy. You will find all the encouragement here. So just stick with us. We got you. Oh yeah, Trish says she uses a Dollar Tree silicone spatula to keep my fingers out of the embroidery field. I love that. Yeah, I try my best not to stick my fingers in there. And I love my little stiletto, but like you could use anything. I love the Dollar Tree spatula idea. Okay, we are done stitching. This guy is done. All right, so now we're going to go set up for the next one. And you can see my little slide method I do with my stabilizer. Let me back up so you can see a little better. Okay, So we are done with these. And now what I'm going to do, try not to hoop. There we go. Something like this. So this bit can be under, but that's not even going close to the embroidery where it's actually going to stitch. And this gets me the very end of my strip I had here. I wouldn't have been able to do this if I had cut this out. It would have been a little bit too short. So it's good that I'm doing it this way. And this. Try to get it tight. Pushed in yet. There we go. All the way. Good job. Okay. This might leave a mark on my block right here, but I'll be able to iron it out. It'll be fine. Okay, so now I'm ready for my next hooping and can go back to the machine and load my next design. And that design is going to be pretty much the same as what we've been doing. It's the background quilting, then the applique right on top. Okay, and now I need to load my other design. I gotta go back home. And my folder and my star trio. That embroidery. Done? Okay, now what color am I doing for this? I haven't picked my colors yet. Okay. Doesn't matter what I do the first one in, but my star trio I have in light blue. And then the stars, the applique, looks like red, navy, and cream. Okay, I got all those colors over here already. And then quilting is in light blue. I got red on, that's fine. We're going to do that for showing me where to put my batting. And let me get my envelope for this guy. So I got my batting. This is the background fabric. And there's 3 little pieces of fabric that are going to be for the applique stars. Okay. Okay, so let's go add our batting and background fabric. Okay, so there's my placement stitch, batting, glue. I'll put the top on a little too good this time. Okay. And now I can just lay my batting right in that box because I cut it to size. If you don't want to use glue and do it like this, just cut a random piece of batting that is bigger than your placement stitch, lay it here, and then run step number 2, and it will do the same exact box. And now tack your batting down, and then you'll trim the edges just like we did the hearts, like an applique, and you'll be left with the same shape. Okay. I think no matter who's stitching, you can skip step number 3 showing you where to put your fabric because, like I say, it's pretty obvious. Just put it right on top of your batting. And I don't think any adhesive or tape or anything is required. Just lay it on here. And now we'll go back to the machine. And this is the step you are going to, if you have the water soluble thread, it's super helpful to use for the basting stitch. If you don't, you can use whatever color. You're going to end up taking it out when you're done. Okay, I'm switching to my water soluble thread. Okay, that is there. Lower presser foot and stitch. And then I'm going to load my light blue. That's my quilting step. And you can just use a spatula of any kind or stiletto to make sure your background fabric is going nice and smooth over your batting. Okie dokie. Thread the needle. That's good. Okay, so now we'll do background quilting, which is the pretty star design. And then let me just look at the picture. So what I'm going to do for these next pieces of applique is, okay, so here's the picture of what the final block's going to look like. So I'm going to do all 3 pieces of this applique in red, the placement, the tack down, and the finishing. And then I'll switch to navy, all 3 pieces in that same color. And then this one's cream. So I need red first. So I'm going to get my red thread ready. And I need my cream piece of applique. Okay, so this guy is first. Quilting is super pretty, blends in, gives it a nice touch without taking away from the pattern of the fabric. I like it a lot. Yay, Brenda, all her stuff is getting delivered today. Woohoo! I'm excited for you. And I've lost my scissors. There we go. I've been a little bit better with not losing my scissors since I put this little magnet right here. It helps me. This is something I got in the Missouri Star Advent box this past year. That was one of the things I'm like, oh, this is very helpful for me. Okie dokie. So we are on the first star in red thread, but the cream square of fabric. So first is the placement stitch, showing me where to put my fabric. And these all have a motif design going around the star. Still no satin stitching. Okay, there was some little tail here. Let me trim because you might see that poking out under the fabric. All right, now I'm gonna lay my cream piece right on top. And you can look at it and play with it and see like, oh, if I want the bow to be in the middle, that would be cute. See if I could make that happen. Yeah, that works. Be tacked down. Hey, I got the bow right in there. That works good. Okay, now we need to trim. And if you are working at your machine and you could just pull this off and trim right here, by all means do that. I just tend to always come over here because y'all can see better. But when I am working by myself and nobody's watching, I usually just pull it off and trim it right there by my machine. Again, I'm going to try to get as close as I can. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll go back and it will do the finishing stitch on this star. Again with the red thread. And then navy is the next color. And then navy applique is the next applique. Ah, okay. Kim has a good question. What is the size? She likes my pink mat. It's my sewing mat I have under my machine. Let's measure it. Let me get a ruler. Let me get this out the way. So this mat is perfect for my Stellaire. The Illuminaire is a little bit longer, I think. So this one's 24 plus 14, that's like 28 and a smidge, 28 and a quarter. And very deep. Get all the way back here. Let's see. It's about, is that 22 inches deep? So I already forgot what I said. 28. 4 plus 14. Yeah. About 28 by 22. That's the size of this mat. I want to say this is the extra large that's offered by Sewing Machines Plus. Oh no, something happened. I was not paying attention. It's totally off. I must be running into something because this happened last time too. Okay, we're going to correct this. All right, so do you see what happened here? I wasn't paying attention because I was messing with my ruler, and I don't think I bumped the thing, but I may have. So let's fix this. Always something. Always something. Did y'all see me? Did I bump the arm? Oh, and it had to happen on the cream fabric too. You know, it would have been a lot less noticeable on the blue fabric. Okay, so something happened here. It started getting off key right here, but that doesn't look horrible. I'll go back and stitch on top of this. Did my thread come out the spool holder? No, I don't know what happened. Might do better I'm doing it from the back. And let me get, I have one of those mats in this hoop. Do I? Yeah, 6 by 10. It's one of those mats that fit inside the hoop so that I can put pressure and I don't have to worry about it coming unhooped. It's from Embroidery Garden makes them, and Dime. I think they're partnered together to make them. And these stitches are like super tight. So one thought I have is if I really can't get this all up, I could just applique another piece of cream right on top. The SF101 should hide it from seeing this red line through it. But I don't know how much cream fabric I got. So I didn't finish cutting it because I was running late. So I just cut out the pieces I needed this morning, which was just one piece I needed from that cream fabric. This is the second time this has happened. So I think I need to pull something. My machine's bumping into something. This happened last week too. Okay. I think I got enough cuts in this, hopefully, where I can pull it out. Where's this happening? Right here. So sorry, this is tedious and a pain in the butt. Probably just as tedious for y'all to watch, but I got to get this fixed. Because what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to turn my machine off and back on to make sure I reset the embroidery arm to be right where it should be. Ugh. Okay. This is not fun, and it's so tight that I'm really struggling to rip it out. Let me see if I rub this on the back. I can loosen it up a little bit. I feel like it almost even went through the stabilizer, and it's just on the back of the fabric. That's why I can't actually cut it. So let me check my idea of just appliquing right on top of it. Yeah. Worst case, I just use a different piece of fabric. But, oh yeah, I should have enough. So this piece of fabric, this was the little piece that I cut. And I have all of this up here. So I'm just going to go cut me another piece of 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch. And I have that fabric already here and stabilized with the pillow on. Okay, so let me look at this picture. So I can go grab this corner up here. There's nothing up here. And so 3.5. One, 2, 3.5. Something like that. Okay. New piece of applique. And let's see if I put this on top of here. I won't see that red line through it. No. So can y'all see that? If I cover this up. So literally what I'm going to do is go repeat the three, actually just 2 steps, the tack down and the finishing, and just put this right on top of it. I think that's my best for this problem. And I'm going to turn my machine off too, because it's bumping something. Are y'all seeing the machine now? Yes. So I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on. And when I do that, it's going to recalibrate this arm and it's going to move and come back. See? I'm going to do that and that. Okay. And I love this because it's going to say, okay, do you want to recall your previous memory? Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Leaves off where I kind of was, but I'm going to manipulate it a little bit. Also, I can pull my machine up a few more inches. It's heavy. This sucker's a beast. So in case it is hitting something back there, and then I got to make sure it doesn't hit the camera because I got the tripod right here in front of it. Okay. So hopefully that fixed that problem, and I'm going to pay attention much closer. Okay, so I already know where to put my star. Placement stitch is not necessary. I am just going to lay my fabric. My bow won't be in the middle anymore, but that's perfectly fine because I just want to get this done. Okay, I'm going to hit the needle plus minus button. And there is my step that has the tack down stitch. I'm going to hit OK and go. This is going to be a little thicker than my other stars. Maybe it's the tripod it was hitting. I don't know, but it's not moving a lot for this step. I must have hit it with the ruler when I was measuring. Okay, and now I'm going to trim. And you see it just covered up my old star. Well, the bump might have happened before the star because it looks a little off here too. Like that line is there and this line is here. The bump might have happened with the background quilting. But something obviously went wrong. Okay, so a little bit closer view. Do you see how you can see some of the other outline right here, right here, right here? So it's shifted just a smidge at some point. So now let's do the outline. And it should cover up all that. It might be a little bit where I'll be able to see it, but nobody else will. This is another instance of Joanna would probably redo this whole block. Tell me what you would do, Joanna. The thing is that I don't know how much more of this fabric we have after doing all our cuts. Okay, everything looks so far so good. Actually, it gives it like a little bit of a 3D effect because it looks like there's two motifs there. All right, I'm washing my red thread too. Make sure it's coming off my spool the way it's supposed to. Because if I got hung up on something, that can mess things up too. All right. Fixed my problem. Again, it's not perfect, but it's pretty. So my friend Alexa says. She said, doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be pretty. But look at that up close. Does that look good? You see how it's got like almost like a shadow effect now here and here. I actually like that. So that is it for the first star. And now we will move on to the middle one. And we're going to do all those steps in navy thread. Change my thread color. And let's stitch the placement stitch. Okay, and tack down stitch. Going to be a little harder to see this one because that tack down stitch blends in with the fabric. So it'll be harder for y'all to see, but I'll be able to see it. So you see what I mean, how it might have been hard to do all three of these at the same time because they're so close together. It's best to just do them one at a time. Let's see. Can you inflate the top stitching a smidge? Would that have covered it? Possibly, but usually resizing it a little bit bigger changes it. It wouldn't have worked. I can't exactly use Stitch Artist to inflate it because I didn't digitize it to begin with. There is an inflate option on Stitch Artist level 3. So it would have been tricky. And going back to the program and hoping that I inflated it enough and come back here because you can't tell until you start stitching it on top of that would have been tricky as well. Angelina, no, I can't talk right now. All right, so just trimming out this star as close as I can. To the stitch line. Okie dokie. That is done, and now we can go do the same outline around it. Let's see. And same, keeping the same navy thread on there. This one's stitching nice. This one looks like I trimmed it real tight so you could see the outline stitching. Oh, no. Something's dragging. Something's not right. Okay, good thing I was watching this. Cut. Let's see if it even cuts. Something's wrong. Ooh, okay. Did y'all see that bunching up? Something got caught underneath. I don't know where or what, but it was about to be a disaster. So let's see what's going on down here. Let me this is almost out. I could probably finish this though. Something, oops, was catching on the bottom. But I don't know what. There's no like nest or anything. Just watch it. And also let's hope that didn't throw off the alignment again. And I'm gonna back up stitches, back up 30. Okay. I'm trying to overlap where I stopped stitching. Now I'm really going to pay attention to the alignment. All right, so looks good. Phew, if it's not one thing, it's another. The problem with what was happening there, something was pulling and pulling the fabric. That would have like totally messed up my hooping and would have been much, much harder to fix. That would have not been fun. It wouldn't have been a big deal if I got this. It's doing it again. Something's catching. Why the feed dogs are coming up? The feed dog should not be coming up. Why is that happening? Nope. Is it? Yeah, the feed dogs are up. Underneath, I could see them. Let's see if I can cut. Something's not cutting. Okay. Now it's stuck underneath. Ugh, always a pain in my butt. There's something under here that is stuck on the bottom. I'm just trying to shove my scissors underneath. There you go, just to cut the thread. Okay. This star didn't quite finish, but I might just leave that be because I don't know what's happening. But the feed dogs came up, and that's why it was holding it in place and getting stuck. So something's wrong down here, and that's going to involve taking this whole sucker off. And my machine's going to fuss at me because I'm supposed to turn it off when I do this. That's okay. All right, see a thread. There's a thread here. Let me get my tweezers. Okay. So zoom in. There we go. So y'all saw I just took my needle plate off. You want to do it properly, you should turn your machine off before you take your needle plate off. I never listen to instructions when it comes to that. I'm just poking around in here and seeing if anything. Looks like they got a thread wrapped around it. There was one piece of thread, but the feed dogs were coming up. I could see it when I looked under my hoop, and it was gripping the bottom of my hoop and not letting it move like it was supposed to. And that was because there was a thread tight here and pushing it up. I think that was the problem. And while I got this open, I'm going to use my little pipe cleaner duster to get dust inlet out from here. I just kind of poke that thing around, and things stick to it. Okay. And while I'm at it, I think it's been a while. I know some people are going to fuss at me for this, but I did have a service technician tell me this. After you change, like every 3 or 4 bobbins, you can put just 1 drop of sewing machine oil right there, right in the middle of your bearing. Normally they say you don't oil flatbed machines, but that was one thing a service technician told me that I can do to help keep it, like after when you're cleaning it and stuff. I need a towel to wipe the oil off my hands. There we go. Seems like no matter what I do, I always get oil on me when I mess with machine oil. Okay, that looks like that's in there good. Where's my plate? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a new bobbin in because that one's on its way out. And I have to decide now if I want to try and finish stitching that blue star or just leave it alone. So it stopped. Where are we? It stopped about right here. So just that little bit of stitching is not there. And now I'm also worried about the alignment. So let me see. The needle is not threaded. Okay, let me back up. It looks like it's more on the inside now. Okay, I'm going to turn my machine off and back on again. I'm going to play that game. And no, one more time. Your hoop can't be on it when you restart it because it won't move the embroidery arm with the hoop on it. Okay, all the troubleshooting today. Okay, pull up. Now, because I went home when I was done with my design, it didn't recall it like it was supposed to. So now I got to go through and go grab it from the beginning. And I'm going to use the needle plus minus button to fast forward to the second star finishing stitch. Okay, so this is the beginning. Now I'm going to jump ahead stitches. I'm going to do 100 at a time. That looks like it goes from point to point. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to start there. So we'll get that last little stretch of that star. Fingers crossed I fixed whatever was going on in the bobbin. And we'll just keep a close eye on it. Okay. Seems to be happier. Okay, now we're on the last star. I'm going to switch to cream thread because that's what the last one is going to get stitched in. Done. Okay, make sure nothing's in the way. Everything looks happy. Placement stitch. And the last fabric is a plain red. And cover up my placement stitch. Tack down stitches next. Okay, and we're gonna go trim it. And sorry, I haven't been looking at the comments. But I can do that now. Marnie said her bobbin case had a burr on it and it was shredding her thread. Yes, I've heard of that before. That's like, it's not super common, but that's like, if you keep continuously having trouble, that could be your issue. Get a bigger eye needle if shredding is what I heard, and slow down the stitches. Yes, but there is usually some sort of underlying problem. I would troubleshoot to see what the problem is first, before just switching to a bigger needle. You know, checking your upper thread path, cleaning it with either some unwaxed dental floss or just a strip of cutaway stabilizer works as well. What else? Cleaning your bobbin case and checking your bobbin case. Sometimes the needle plate can have a burr or the bobbin case can have a burr. And that's where, like, if you're continuously having trouble. that might be the culprit. Bobbin cases are not expensive usually to replace. All right, we got that last star, and fingers crossed we have no more issues. And I'll come back and check the rest of the comments, but I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I don't want to go by my computer and read comments and then something go wrong, because that would be my luck. All right, last one. Fingers crossed. This stitch out was only supposed to take 8 minutes. According to my machine. But granted, that's not taking into consideration the applique bit, but just the stitching time. See. Oop, I'm gonna pause just for a second because I see 2 random red pieces of fabric. Let me fix that. Okay. They're like strands from the edge of the fabric were poking up. The cream on red looks pretty. Oh, it's just starting to make some weird noises. Right when it was coming to the end, like something was about to not be happy. A little bit of nesting. Maybe that was it. Okay. All right. We are done. Thank you, Jesus. That was stressful. Okay. And that is our star trio block. I can unhoop. And now I got 3 blocks done. And I will wet them and remove all of the basting stitching. I'm going to press them and I'm going to trim them. Let me clean my space. And now I can look at the comments and see what I missed. Yeah. Trish, I'm the same with you. Like, phew, that is done. Okay. Let's see. All right, so I'm just wetting with my little spray bottle all around the edge to dissolve my water-soluble stitching. I tried previously just dipping the Q-tip and rubbing it, but I felt like it took forever. So I really find you need to soak it. And it'll dry quickly, and the iron will help. So you could see them starting to go away, and just rub to try and get that. And once you do, use my tweezers over here. You can just go and grab the bobbin thread for that basting stitch, and it will come right out. Because I only use the water soluble in the top, not in the bottom too. So then that comes right out. Let me turn my iron on. Okay, I'm going to start from the back with pressing. But all of these blocks are simple. They have normal fabric, nothing like heat sensitive. You really got to be careful when you're ironing blocks that have like some sort of embroidery leather or faux leather, vinyl stuff, and any kind of specialty items that are heat sensitive. But your normal polyester embroidery thread is got a high heat tolerance. You can iron over it. What would also be pretty is if you filled these with some glitter HTV. That would be a solution. Like if I ran out of this fabric, I could have used like a white glitter HTV and then a red one here. So if you're using your own stuff or you want to switch it out from your fabric kit, if you like. Oh, put a crease right in the end. Okay, so quickly, without undoing the other ones, look, I'm going to trim this one. Now, I like the orange pop rulers, and I went over those in the last class. I don't love them for the 4x8 final blocks because there is no 4x8 orange pop ruler. There's only 6x8. And what they have you do is cut it twice, and you still end up having two little pieces that aren't cut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do it with just a normal ruler. And if you don't have orange pop rulers, this is what you do. Okay. There is a very obvious stitch line here of where your batting is, right? You see that going around? You're going to use that as a guide, and you're going to put your 1/4 inch mark on that line. So I'm going to put it just right outside of it there. And actually, let me go all the way across because this is where I start saving my strips and sewing them together. Okay, so here is a strip of Save-A-Lizer that I can save and sew with another one later. This will just be scrap, trash. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line it up. My 1/4 inch mark is on that batting stitch line. Or something like that. And then let me just do this quickly to have. There we go. Another scrap. Like this one I probably can't do nothing with. So that's your solution if you don't have orange pop rulers, is going from the back, use your batting outline stitch as your guide and your ruler and line up the 1/4 inch line on your ruler to that batting stitch line. And then you will get a nice 4.5 by 8.5 inch finish block. So that's your final cut size. So that came out just right. Okay. So there's that. And then you can do the same thing with all blocks. Like I said, just use that outline stitch, or the orange pop rulers are really nice. That's the one block I don't love them for, is the 4x8s, because you have to nest the rulers, and then it's a little bit harder to tell, and you still don't even get to cut it completely because the ruler's not the right size. Let me trim this. Okay. These are still a little wet, but it's okay. All right. And then if you are going to use the orange pop rulers, the rotating cutting mat is helpful. I gotta make sure everything's out the way. That's when you rotate it. Just like your embroidery machine, it starts to hit things. Okay, I like to go from the back because I can see where I took my basting stitch out. Like I can see those little puncture marks through my stabilizer. I have to find my ruler. And that's what I use as a guide. This one? Yeah. So other than that, you just eyeball it again. And if you don't like eyeballing things, that's when you can use your basting stitch box as your line and just use your normal quilting ruler. This usually works out nice. Okay, and then you get 4.5 by 4.5 finished block. Okay. There we go. So those are our 3 finished blocks for today. 2 hearts and the star trio. That's cute. I need to take a picture of that. All right. Any questions? And if you asked a question already and I missed it, please tell me. And I will do my best to answer. Right. Go back here. So thank you, thank you. Sorry that was a little tedious today. Always something. That's the thing with embroidery, but you have to stay calm, take a breath, walk away if you need to. I know y'all don't want me to walk away right now because then that would just leave you hanging. But if you need to walk away, take a breath, come back to it. Just leave everything as it is. Leave your machine on, leave your hoop as it is, and then you come back and with fresh eyes, you'll figure it out. But most of the time, you know, I should be watching my machine because little hiccups like that can happen. And it's helpful that I was standing by it for the one where the feed dogs were coming up. Cleaning the bobbin case, rethreading. If you're worried about a bump, like obviously something went wrong with mine. If you didn't move your design originally, like if you just loaded it and started stitching, you can just turn your machine off and back on, let it recalibrate that embroidery arm, and then things should go back to how it's supposed to be. So that's always my solution for when a bump happens. And my embroidery arm on that machine is so big that it's easy to do. So I have to pay more attention to it and make sure I got it pulled back away from the wall as much as possible, so it doesn't do anything. Let's see. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. Yay, Terry's had her orange pop rulers for 2 years. You can do it, girl. Just practice, get some scrap fabric and like use your ruler to draw a 4x4 square on it with some fabric marker. Take scrap fabric, use your normal, like if you have a little quilting ruler like this or whatever, like draw a 4x4 square on your fabric. Then use your orange pop ruler and center it around that, and then just practice going around cutting. And I know the first time I was cutting with it, I was doing it the wrong direction. So make sure if you're right-handed, you're starting on like the left-hand side of your block, pushing your blade against the ruler so that the ruler is on the left-hand side of your blade. Simple things like that, and just practice. You'll get it. I know the first few times I used it, I did it completely wrong. So practice first, yes. All right, yay! I'm glad y'all like everything. Let's see if Wendy is still here with us. I hope watching it helped you feel a little bit better about when you're ready to approach this project when all your stuff comes in. Sherry's saying, I had a 58-minute stitch out that ended up taking 3 hours on her brother's 10 needle. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sherry. I know that's frustrating. I hope you got it figured out. Okay, any other questions? Oh yeah, Joanna says Kimberbell has videos on how to use their rulers as well for you to check out, Terry. All right. All right, guys, that is it for today. So we got our 3 blocks done. If you just did 1 heart block, remember your second one is on our homework list because a few of the blocks that are duplicate, we have that. So that is it. Let me look at the website and see what we are doing next class. And I can show you. Okay, so this is, oh, and I have an announcement too. I'm supposed to tell y'all something. Okay, let's see. Video class schedule. So this is what we did today. Oh, and today's my little brother's birthday. Everybody say happy birthday, Lee. Even though he never watches this, he won't know. But I will tell him. We did heart. We ended up doing both of them and the trio. Okay, so this coming Wednesday, April 22nd, again at 10 a.m. Central Time, we're going to do the blue petals, which I think that one is a 6x6. Yes, blue petals 6x6. So that's the first time we're doing that size. I'm going to make it fit in my 6x10 hoop. And then what's the other one? The vase flowers. Vase flowers. That is actually 2 hoopings. So I don't know if we'll get all of that done. The vase flowers is, the vase is 1 4x6 hooping and the vase flowers is 4x4. So if we don't get, no, that's one thing by itself. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Wednesday, we are doing blue petals and Let Freedom Ring. Okay, Let Freedom Ring is 6x8. That'll again be in a 6x10 hoop. Okay, I see it now. Those are our 2 blocks for Wednesday. We'll attack the vase next Monday, and that is 2 separate blocks, 2 hoopings. So we don't have a class this Friday, and that is because we're having Sip and Stitch this Friday. It's going to be at 10:30 on Friday morning, YouTube and Facebook, free tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to make a cute applique sweatshirt or t-shirt on my brother's 6-needle machine. And the font we're using is super cute. It comes from my friend Dawn at Creative Appliques, and it's like a normal applique font, but it has a really cute lace detail going around the edge of the whole thing. So that is going to be this Friday. My work I have to do today once this live ends is get everything ready for it, and that includes updating the Sip and Stitch homepage, and I'm going to stitch it out myself ahead of time and take pictures and stuff so I could show you. And Dawn was sweet enough to send me a coupon code for this applique font. So I'm going to get all that information together for you and update the Sip and Stitch homepage today, hopefully before my kids come home from school. That's my work for today. The other thing I wanted to tell you about, and I think I have a little picture, is I am participating in, I would say this is my first summit because I've never participated in one called a summit before, but I think this is going to be very similar to like the virtual applique getaway. But this is an online series of embroidery education. But the cool thing about this one is it's completely free. So I am teaching along with a bunch of some of my online embroidery friends like Alexis Galloway and Lisa Shaw and Dawn Chase from Creative Appliques. And there's a few more. And then there's some that I am not familiar with. So I'm excited to get to learn from some new people. But the conference, I believe, starts next, what is today? The 20th. I should know that. Next Friday, I think. But registration, I think, is open now. So they gave me a special link for all of my followers. And I am going to send out an email. I think that's the easiest way. I'm going to post about it on Facebook too. But I will put the link to sign up for the summit. Like I said, it's completely free. But they only give you like a day to view it. So I think there's classes like all day Friday and then all day Saturday. And I think then they'll have like a chance to watch the replay Sunday and the following Monday. So the whole weekend there, you'll have time to watch all of the wonderful classes. And then there's giveaways, there's freebies. Like I'm going to be teaching you how to make an in the hoop bag tag. And I'll have like a simple step for someone who's never made an in the hoop project before. And then I have a like upgraded step where I show you how to add the clear vinyl on top and add confetti to turn it into a shaker bag tag, which is really fun. And the design is a free download. So when you, when you sign up for the summit, you'll get, I think, all that information. But I will be emailing and posting on Facebook today to give you the registration link, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And what else? Oh, and the summit is by Sookie Sows. That's like the main person I forgot to mention. Sookie Sows, who like I'm a huge fan of. She is a ambassador for Bernina, and she has some wonderful classes. She teaches how to use a serger and sewing, and she does machine embroidery too. She has beautiful machine embroidery designs. So she is the host of the summit. So that's really exciting. When they reached out to ask me to do it, I was like, ooh, yeah. But that is it for today. I will be back on Wednesday. We're going to stitch out 2 more blocks. And then on Friday, we'll take a break from the sew along and do sip and stitch and make us a cute mama sweatshirt, applique, or a t-shirt. All right. Thanks again. And I hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.